Hi, I am Aditya Kumar Goel and my registration number is 18BIT0399. Today I'll be discussing about data communication and computer networks, and I'll be starting with objectives of this course in BTech and what are its application in real-time industries. So, starting with the objectives, a student should learn the principles of computer network through Internet Protocol and the OSI model, and they should be able to introduce the basics of data communication and functions of layered structure. This helps in understanding the concept of error control, flow control protocols, various routing and congestion control algorithms, network management, and performance analysis. So, the outcomes of these objectives are basically they'll be able to analyze the physical layer, transmission medium concepts to meet the challenges in implementing the computer networks. They'll be able to demonstrate the knowledge of fundamental elements and concepts related to data communication and network, and also identify and analyze the data link layer error and flow control in computer networks. All of this helps them to analyze, design, and implement the internet works by using IP address and routing protocols. Then they can examine the services and analyze the protocols of transport and application layers. So finally, they'll be able to demonstrate, design, and analyze the various network topologies and protocols using networking tools. Now, what is data? Data refers to the raw facts that are collected, while information refers to the processed data that enables us to take the decision. The word data itself refers to any information which is presented in a form that is agreed and accepted upon its creators and users. And moving on to data communication. So, data communication is a process of exchanging data or information. It is quite simple, as in case of computer networks, this exchange is done between two devices over a transmission medium. This process involves a communication system which is made up of hardware and software. The hardware part involves the sender and receiver devices and the intermediate devices through the data passes. The software part involves certain rules which specify what is it to be communicated, how it has to be communicated, and when it has to be communicated. This entire process is also known as protocol. The characteristics of a data communication are delivery. So the data should be delivered to the correct destination and to the correct user, obviously. Then accuracy. The communication system should deliver the data accurately without introducing any errors, and the data may get corrupted during the transmission, affecting the accuracy of the delivered data. So there has to be a checksum for that. Then timelessness. So audio and video data has to be delivered in timely manner without any delay. Such a data delivery is also called real-time transmission of data. For example, when we call over WhatsApp or Google Meet, or even the professors who are teaching us on Microsoft Teams, so that type of networking relies on timeliness. Then finally, jitter. It is the variation in the packet arrival time. Uneven jitter may affect the timeliness of data being transmitted. So, what are the components of data communication? So, this is pretty basic. Like, the first one is message. Message is information to be communicated by the sender to the receiver. Then sender. Sender is any device that is capable of sending the data. Receiver is the device that sender wants to communicate the data. And finally, the link between them, transmission medium. It is the path by which the message travels from sender to receiver. It can be wired or wireless, and subtypes in both. Like the LAN network is wired, but Wi-Fi is wireless. And handling this entire system requires some rules. So that rules and regulations are known as protocol. So it is an agreed upon set of rules used by sender and receiver to communicate the data, and this protocol governs the data communication entirely, and the protocol is highly necessary in data communication, without which the communicating entities are like two persons trying to talk each other in different language without knowing the other language. Now, moving on to the data flow. So the data flow between the two devices can be simplex, half duplex, or full duplex. In simplex, communication is unidirectional, and for example, the radio which is being used by security personals, so that whenever they press the button only, then the said communication is sent to the another radio, but at the same time another person cannot radio the person who is sending, so that is known as simplex. And then half duplex is like radio itself, but this time like it has to be one person at one time. Then full duplex is basically what you do a normal call, where both the stations can transmit and receive at the same time. Now, coming to the computer networks. Computer network can be defined as a collection of nodes. A node can be any device capable of transmitting or receiving data. The communicating nodes have to be connected by communication links, and computer network should ensure following three things. First one, reliability of the data, and most important, the security of the data, and finally the performance by achieving high throughput and smaller delay times. Now, it is easy to categorize network, and it has been categorized in three simple ways. It is known as local area network. It is usually limited to few kilometers of area. It may be privately owned, or could be a network inside an office or a floor of a building, or maybe your house. Wide area network is made up of all the networks in a particular large area. Like a state can have its own wide area network, or a country can have its own. So, like finally coming to metropolitan area. So metropolitan area network is a size between LAN and WAN. It is larger than LAN but smaller than WAN. For example, wide area network is Maharashtra, and metropolitan area network may be Mumbai. So these are the three categories in which network is divided. Now, what are the elements of a protocol which governs the entire data communication network? So there are three. First one is syntax. It means the structure or the format of the data. It is the arrangement of data in a particular order. Then second one is semantics. It tells the meaning of each section of bits and indicates the interpretation of each section. It also tells the action and decision that has to be taken based on the interpretation. And finally, the timing. It tells the sender about the readiness of the receiver to receive the data. It tells the sender at what rate the data has to be sent to the receiver, so that there is no delay and they avoid overwhelming the receiver. Now, moving on to the uses of computer networks. So computer network is highly important, as we know. Like in earlier days, 200 300 years ago, people used to send letters, and it used to take a week or maybe months to send a message. So it is like practically impossible to like think of that situation in current times. So what is the industrial application of DCCN in the current industry in real time? So the first one is resource sharing. The goal is to make all programs, equipments, and especially data available to anyone on the network without regard to the physical location of the resource and the user. So for example, I'm working in an office, and the entire office has around 1000 employees, but on each floor there is a printer. So if I want to print something and send it to an employee which is on another floor, I should be able to print that document on a printer which I am wirelessly connected to the printer which is on another floor, so that my colleague can get that print. So that is resource sharing. Then server client model. So one can imagine a company's information system as consisting of one or more databases and some employees who need to access this remotely. In this model, the data is stored on powerful computers like servers. Often these are controlled centrally and maintained by a system administrator. In contrast, the employees have simple machines called clients, like my laptop, and using which they can access the remote data from server, be it wireless or wired connection. Communication medium. A computer network can provide a powerful communication among employees. Virtually every company that has two or more computers now has email, which employees generally use for a great deal of daily communication. And the final and the most common thing which we are highly dependent, especially in this COVID era, is e-commerce. It is a goal that is starting to become more important in business and is doing business with consumers over the internet. It can be anything from airlines, bookstores, music, purchasing grocery, or booking a cab, any service which you earlier had to do it physically is now available online. I hope that whoever watches this video gets an idea of what data communication and computer network means. Thank you.